Okay, thank you, Fabic. Now I want to welcome in our speaker, Brad Temme, Director of Engineering for the City of St. Charles. Good morning, Brad. How are you doing today?
Doing well. Thanks for having me, Chris.
Of course, absolutely. Happy Friday. We're looking forward to hearing about this exciting project, and I'm going to turn the floor over to you. But real quick before I do, if anybody has any questions, they can enter them into the chat box on the side of the stream, or they can email Leah at sitestl.org. Brad, the floor is yours.
All right. Thank you, sir. Yeah, so Brad Temme, City of St. Charles, Director of Engineering. Those of you who may not know a lot about St. Charles or are not from the area, we are a city of about 70,000 individuals. We are pretty well landlocked in our size. Our boundaries are set, and we're kind of in the phase where we're seeing redevelopment start to occur. We've seen a lot of growth in residential through the last couple of years. The market is very strong, and we've had some great developments take root, like the streets of St. Charles here on our riverfront. And we've been working for a number of years to really unlock the potential of our riverfront. River Point, as our new mayor Dan has named this project, is a piece of that. So I'm going to jump right into the presentation here. Bangor Island was the initial name for this development. We've changed it to River Point for a number of reasons. We received a lot of concern that we were developing the island itself, which has some restrictions on it for its use. The island itself is going to remain an island, a recreational facility, but we are developing the ground in and around the riverfront here. So as I said before, Streets of St. Charles is on the northeast of this project. Ameristar Casinos directly north of it. We have Interstate 70 on the north side that has about 1 million cars a week travel past this site. And we have the Family Arena on the south. We initially broke the project up into 3 phases. We saw phase 1 being the area by Streets of St. Charles as the most easily able to develop. Phase 2, we jumped down to the Family Arena. And then there was a long, skinny stretch in between that we called phase 3. We ended up, in reality, the way it's going to roll out, phases 1 and 3 will be at the same time. So we're working on both of these phases at the same time. In this visualization, we kind of put together, what is the city's future of this area? What do we want it to look like? So we laid out a development. We did this in-house to create this tool. And when we went to speak with our legislature, when we went to speak with the governor, the lieutenant governor, the senators, U.S., when we talked to Congressman Luke DeMeyer and others, we really needed to convey, what do we want this area to be in the future? So this was vital in our efforts to, work through a lot of the issues that have kind of held this site back. So as you can see, we put together a development, mixed use, and kind of laid it out based on some of the things that were around it. So we extended roadways that existed outside the development, created flows through the development. The site is got a lot of unique features to it. The Katy Trail runs right down the middle of the site at this time. Working with state parks officials, we were able to move the Katy Trail. So in this video, it's shown going right through the middle of the site. Will not be that way in actuality. It will be put along the waterfront as was shown here in this. So the Katy Trail will run alongside the top of a wall, which will give it, it will be outside of any vehicular crossings that may have been within the development, which is what state parks wanted. It also helps us maximize the land use of the area. So we're able to kind of focus on the building sites themselves. The phase 2 area, as we initially called it, is down by the Family Arena. This is a larger site. It's about 60 acres of development potential. This was initially we thought would be larger users, larger office, that sort of thing. We haven't quite gotten to the point where we figured out, what may ultimately go on phase two. There's definitely strong market demand for multifamily residential right now. We hope to see increased demand for office and other retail use in the future. So we're still kind of working through what phase two may become in the future. But this is a large piece of ground at the southern end of it, right next to the family arena. This site actually affronts the river, so it is actually on the riverfront itself. This site or this area is probably the easiest to develop. It does not have the Katy Trail running right through the middle of it. It's already been routed around it when they built the family arena, and it's outside of wetlands, which have become a big part of what we've been working on this project. So this portion of the project was we put it as phase two, even though it wasn't exactly linear going north to south, because we saw the potential of easy development there. So why was this project important to St. Charles? We estimated that this project would create $1.5 billion in construction, in sales, and development for the area. We anticipate 4,000 new jobs from this. Those were numbers that were projected back when we started this 10 years ago. I will tell you, more recently, as we worked through the first phase of this project, which was the initial 15 acres of it, we're seeing numbers on that phase alone of 2,500 jobs, and we're excited, for what this may mean for St. Charles and the whole state. This is a quarter of the city's riverfront. If Main Street is a quarter north of I-70, this is the quarter south of I-70. It's 1.6 miles long. We've already got great attractions all around us. We've got Streets of St. Charles, Ameristar Casino, Family Arena, and the Katy Trail running right through the site. There's nothing else like this, I believe, along the Katy Trail, from St. Louis to Kansas City. This would be impressive. It's been a difficult site to develop. So we've been bisected by overhead utilities. We've had to plan how we're going to reroute those utilities underground around our site. We were bisected by our own sewer system. And when we raise this ground up, we're going to have a very deep sewer. So we've had to figure out how to move that trunk sewer main around the site as well. The Katy Trail ran right through the middle of our site. So we had to figure out with state parks how we were going to handle the Katy Trail and keeping it open and active while we develop the site. One of the major issues, and one that's been worked on since 2008, are the core jurisdictional wetlands along the boundaries of this site. And we had many private stakeholders who owned property in this area. The city had held a large portion of property down there, but we didn't have it all. So we had to work with folks who had owned property for quite some time and really didn't understand property boundaries, and property descriptions near the river are very fluid. So a lot of things are described to the river. The island was described, to the channel. So there's a lot of different parts to this that were involved to understanding and unlocking, how do you assemble this and how do you put something like this together? As stated at the opening, this is a large area, 325 acres. Of that, we're developing a portion of it. So the island itself is over 200 acres. It has use restrictions on it, so no firearms, no motorized vehicles, recreational uses. So the island itself is going to stay a park. It's going to be a great amenity to those who may live and work around this area, but due to its its placement and it's also within the floodway, so it's just a nice amenity near really the area that needs to develop. Another thing we did early on to kind of bring awareness to the project and also spread the understanding of what we're trying to do to the project is create a project website. And we got the word out there about the project, what was going on when we were meeting with people and other things. This was from a couple of weeks ago. We've had over 16,000 people view the website. So we've received a lot of feedback and a lot of acceptance on the project just based on being able to share our message, even during the difficult 2020 year that we've had. So as any project evolves, you start with a single concept and it evolves over time. When this project started in 2008, it was thought that the island would become an island again. In the 1930s, the Corps put some river control structures in that caused the island and the ground next to the river to accrete together. So the island became part of the landmass adjacent to the river. So the thought was, let's dredge out a slough again. Let's make the island separated from the mainland, and that's how we would develop or delineate. Here's the island, and here's the developable mainland. So, as you can see on the left, that was kind of the first rendition of this. There for a while, we were able to acquire the first phase of this, and we were thinking, well, if we had to just phase this and do one thing, what could we do? So we built kind of a lake design, water quality feature, and created the development alongside of it. That transitioned through our work with the wetlands delineation and core work into what we have today, which is about 30 acres of development. The green parcels shown on this map are the areas currently owned in large part by the city. The county has some property for a trailhead in there. And the idea is that what we were initially calling phase 1 and phase 3 are moving forward as development. And right now we have a couple great proposals from developers on what they would like to do with the site. So, we're pretty happy that, the development community sees the potential of this area as well. And, our council's got a tough decision ahead of them, but one that I think, either way they go is going to be, quite spectacular for St. Charles, the region, and the state. Some of the more recent mock-ups, white box idea of, what is this area going to look like? This one shows the Katy Trail kind of along the waterfront there. That area down through there is a tributary to the river called Crystal Springs Creek. And we plan to provide access to the island and the trails that are on the island over that creek via pedestrian type bridge. We're going to have a wall kind of along the development side of this property and the Katy Trail above it, with kind of a boardwalk separated from the Katy Trail to give both the people who are walking and at the development a chance to kind of connect with the area, as well as give the Katy Trail its own passage through the area. Here's another spot that we designed in the project. It was an overview or walkover, so the folks who are in the development can cross over the Katy Trail and also interact with some of the development features of the island itself. So as I said, this has been a long process. This has been something that we've been working on for a long time. In 2008, the city cost shared with the Corps of Engineers, St. Louis District. They created a physical model of the entire river and what the project may mean to flows in the river. In 2011, they finished that modeling and wrote a report. We transitioned that program into a Kansas City program, and the way these district boundaries are set up with the Corps of Engineers is quite interesting. So the river itself is the Kansas City's jurisdiction. The St. Louis Corps has jurisdiction for anything that flows into that in this area. So it's kind of a juggling between the two. Kansas City put this into a project that was targeted for pallid sturgeon, called the Missouri River Recovery Program. As we were working through that project, Kansas City was ready to start construction of the slough that we showed in the initial slides. And as part of that, the city had to become the landowner of the island to be able to give them the easements necessary to do that. So in 2014, the city bought the island from the Missouri Department of Conservation. In October 2016, the Kansas City Corps decided that side channel chutes were no longer good for pallid sturgeon, that they wanted to create shallow water habitat in the middle of a river instead of in these chute areas. So we were back to the drawing board in October 2016 of, how do we get this thing rolling with the Corps? In November 2016, the St. Louis Corps recommended an 1135 program, which is more broad habitat restoration for a number of species. In January of the next year, we submitted a funding application for them to do that. In March, the other Corps, Kansas City Corps, blocked the request for that we had worked on with St. Louis. We had a presidential visit at that time in November 2017. So our then Mayor Faith met with Governor Greitens and President Trump on the project. So that was unique. Governor Greitens and DNR followed up with the city on the project. We worked, we went on basically the campaign of the Capitol in 2018. So we worked with our local delegation to get their support for the project. We had a sponsored resolution of support from the Missouri Senate that was approved by both the Senate and the House in 2018. We worked through federal acts of legislation with Senator Blunt and others on the WRDA bill to get this project put into the last WRDA legislation. We worked on some other programs, funding. We received, we met with the county executive and what they could help us with on the project. The county supported, the development of this area and the growth of St. Charles and St. Charles County. We worked for more core funding and core project. We applied for County Road Board funding. We worked through a build grant, which we were unsuccessful in getting. We worked with Corps officials from both sides, met with Congressman Luke DeMeyer, applied for more build funding. We tried quite a bit to get this project off the ground. So in about 2019, things started coming together. So the state and Senator Eigel were able to put $1 million appropriation for the project together. We got state parks on board with our moving of the Katy Trail. Late that year, the governor stepped up, was able, through his governor's cost share program with MoDOT and DED to award the project $5 million. So transitioning into 2020, things were full steam ahead. COVID hits, we kept building on the site. We kept things moving. Middle of the year, we had a developer marketing luncheon. So we brought people in, showed them our idea, showed them what, the timeline was for the project. In late this year, we formed a SID on the project area to help with some of the development costs. We finished up the property acquisition of that phase 1 and phase 3 area. We got our 106 clearance from the state. We've applied for the 404 permit. The Corps has approved the jurisdictional determination on that permit. The county early this year approved $7 million in road board funds for the project. And as we sit today, we have 2 strong development proposals that came really out of that meeting mid last year of sharing our vision with the development community. Currently, if you were to walk out on the site today, we've got utility relocation underway. I think we have about 5 miles of conduit sitting on site to underground those overhead utility lines. Our initial road work is beginning. We put in and started construction of the sanitary lift station to reroute that sanitary flow from the middle of the site around the edge of the site. Demolition of existing structures is happening. Last month, council approved the tree clearing package. So starting on Monday, we will be out there clearing the remainder of the site to hopefully get things really rolling in 2021. So I'll leave you with just another one of the pretty pictures that we had of the project, just trying to convey that we will be adjacent to this area. I will say, throughout the project, there were considerable concerns from environmental groups. The environmental groups, we met with them head on early and provided them with a lot of information. We've been studying this for quite a long time and had a lot of answers. Unfortunately, it seems like even though we had a lot of the information that they needed to understand the project, it seems like they didn't want to understand the project. So, luckily, by following the steps and procedures of the Corps of Engineers and others, we're gonna make it through this process, and we've done it in a environmentally sensitive way that also helps bring significant development to our city. So, with that, Chris, I don't know if there are any questions about our project or the presentation I just made.
Brad, I've got one question for you. I'm going to put you on the spot. And
yeah,
when's a target completion date?
You know what? Talking to some of the developers, it depends on which project we go with. One would be open by mid-year 2023, so that would be operational mid-year 2023. The other one would probably be sometime in 2022 for a portion of it. So theirs was a more phased development of the site, but obviously significant pieces of it would start earlier than the other one. So
exciting, and trust me, I know that's a difficult question to answer, especially when this project started in 2008. So
yeah,
it's got to be exciting for you to kind of see that finish line in the horizon. So
sure.
Brad, I'm seeing no other questions. You escaped the gauntlet.
All right.
Thank you for being with us today. Thank you to the City of St. Charles and their commitment to development. And I wish you very well. And if there's anything site can do for you, please don't hesitate to reach back out to
sure,
us.
Thank you.
Hold on a second. We just had one question come in.
Great.
It's under the wire. Where can those on the this presentation, where can we find bidding information for the phases of this project?
Sure. Yeah. So the city advertises it on our website, stcharlescitymo.gov. We also put it out in the Business Journal And then, our project website is always up to date, kind of on what the timeframes are of, things coming out. So you can either type in BangardIsland.com, which was our initial site, or riverpoint-stc.com is the new website for River Point.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Again, Brad, thank you. And
Yeah.
we appreciate your time today. Take care and be well.
All right. Thank you.